Peppa Pig, the fire engine. Mummy Pig is going to the fire engine practice. Good excuse for a chat, says Daddy Pig. I have a very important meeting and a barbecue with the Daddy's football team. Mummy Pig, Peppa and George arrive at Miss Rabbit's fire station. Wow! Gasped Peppa, seeing the big red fire engine. Badminton! Giggles George. Daddy Pig and his friends are playing football and having a barbecue in the garden. Oh dear, the barbecue has turned into a fire. Daddy Pig rings the fire station. The fire phone is ringing. Hello, Daddy Pig, answers Miss Rabbit. This phone is only for when there's a fire! Shouts Daddy Pig. We'll be right there, replies Miss Rabbit. Mummy's to the rescue, cries Miss Rabbit, sliding down the fire pole. Hold tight, cries Mummy Pig. Whee! Laughs Peppa. The fire engine is ready to go. Peppa, George and the mummies soon find the barbecue and get their water hose out. Stand back, daddies, cries Miss Rabbit. The water comes spurting out the hose. Hooray! Cheer all the daddies when the fire is out. Thank you for saving us, says Daddy Pig. No problem, replies Miss Rabbit. It's all part of a service. Now that Miss Rabbit has flooded the garden, says Daddy Pig, we can jump up and down in muddy puddles. I love fire engines, says Peppa, especially when they make muddy puddles. The end. Peppa Pig and the Little Train. Peppa and George are visiting Granny and Grandpa Pig. Bang, crash, bang, bang. What's that noise? Asked Peppa. Grandpa Pig is building a surprise for you, says Granny Pig. Toot toot. Come out, Grandpa, shouts Peppa. We want to see the surprise. Grandpa Pig drives the surprise out of the shed. Oh, it's a toy train, says Peppa. Vroom, says George. It is not a toy, says Grandpa. This is Gertrude. She's a miniature locomotive. Peppa and George like the little train. Can we go for a ride? Asked Peppa. All aboard, says Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig's little train doesn't need railroad tracks. It has tires. The train climbs up the hill. Peppa sings. Grandpa's little train goes tug, 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 tug. Grandpa's little train goes tug, 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 all through the town. Hello, Peppa, calls Danny. Ahoy there, says Grandad Dog. I see you're playing toy trains. Gertrude isn't a toy, says Grandpa Pig. She's a miniature locomotive. How's your little truck? My truck is a work vehicle, says Grandad Dog. Can I ride on the train? asked Danny. Well, if you'd rather play trains...
Thanks, Grandad,
says Danny. The little train stops. There's another vehicle in the road. It's Miss Rabbit. She is taking some students on a bus tour. I like your toy train, says Miss Rabbit.
It's not a toy,
Says Peppa.
it's a miniature locomotive.
Peppa's school friends are on the bus. They like Grandpa's little train. They want a ride too.
Who wants to ride on Grandpa Pig's little train?
Says Miss Rabbit.
I do.
Shouts Susie.
Me too.
Me too, all the others. Zoe leads the way. The others follow. Everybody sings.
Grandpa's little train goes chug, 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 chug. Grandpa's little train goes chug, 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 all through the town.
Grandpa Pig stops at the playground. Peppa goes down the slide. Grandpa goes down the slide too. Back on the train, Grandpa sees Miss Rabbit's bus again. What happened? The bus is stuck in the mud. Grandad Dog tries to pull the bus from the mud. He pulls and pulls, but the bus won't budge.
Oh no!
Don't worry, says Grandpa Pig. This little train can help. Grandpa Pig hooks a rope to the bus. Chug, chug, pull, pull. The bus is free. Beep, beep. There's a nice big muddy puddle left behind. Everyone puts on their boots. It's time to jump.
Thank you, Grandpa Pig.
The end. Peppa Pig and the Halloween costume. It's almost Halloween.
I love trick-or-treating,
Says Peppa.
and jack-o'-lanterns. I love dressing up.
George loves Halloween too. Peppa is trying to decide what she wants to be.
I know.
Says Peppa.
I will be a pirate. I will sail the high seas and hunt for buried treasure. But I'm going to be a pirate,
Says Danny Dog.
I even have an eye patch.
Wow.
Maybe I'll be a clown instead.
Says Peppa.
I will do a juggling act. I'm dressing up as a clown,
Said Pedro Pony.
I have big clown shoes and a funny red nose. Okay,
Says Peppa.
maybe I will be a nurse. I will make everyone feel better. But Peppa,
Says Susie Sheep.
I am dressing up as a nurse.
Peppa frowns.
Well then, I'll be a witch. With a pointy black hat and a broom. Peppa,
Says Candy Cat.
I already have my costume. Pointy black hat, broom. I'm a witch.
George has an idea for Peppa.
Dinosaur.
Peppa does not want to dress up as a dinosaur. Peppa thinks she'd like to be a brave space traveller. But that idea is taken.
Oh no!
She even considers dressing up as a vegetable.
Sorry.
Says Rebecca Rabbit. What can I be for Halloween? asked Peppa. Maybe a brave cowboy, a happy tiger, a sparkly ballerina. Peppa thinks and thinks. Then she has an idea. I will be a brave, happy, sparkly fairy princess. Peppa likes her wings, crown and wand, but her costume is not quite perfect. Peppa thinks that maybe there is something missing. That's it! Even fairy princesses need muddy paddle boots. Happy Halloween. The end. Peppa Pig and the I Love You game. It's Valentine's Day, says Mummy Pig. What's that? asks Peppa. That's the day we celebrate everything we love, says Mummy. We can play the I Love You game.
Wow!
Ooh, says Peppa. I love games. I'll go first. I love my birthday and balloons and birthday cake and blowing out the candles, says Peppa. I love playing dress up. I love you, Cookies. What do you love, George? asked Granny Pig. Dinosaur, says George. Rainbows, calls Peppa. I love rainbows. Peppa also loves reading books and dancing.
Wow!
I love spiders, says Peppa. I love you, Mr. Skinny Legs. Oh no, says Daddy Pig, not me. I do not love spiders. I don't even like them. Daddy Pig loves his movie camera. Action, he says. Mummy Pig loves her sparkly pink dress.
Wow!
What do you love, Granny Pig? asked Peppa. I love my blackberry bush and picking berries, she says. And I love your blackberry pie, says Daddy Pig. I know what you love, Grandpa Pig, says Peppa. Your boat. Grandpa Pig loves going to the amusement park. So does George. Dinosaur, says George. Oh, George, says Peppa, you love lots of other things. What about vegetables? George nods. Dinosaur, he says. Well, I love lots of things, says Peppa. I love Susie Sheep. And I love Madame Gazelle and Goldie. I love picnics and the ducks. And planting seeds in Grandpa Pig's garden.
Wow!
I love making pancakes, says Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig have more ideas too.
Hooray!
And I love when Daddy Pig makes pancakes, says Mummy Pig. Don't forget about Polly Parrot, says Granny Pig. Oh yes, says Grandpa Pig. We all love Polly. Says Polly. I love playing my drum and drawing pictures, says Peppa. I love you, Pizza. Is that all? asked Mummy Pig. Are you sure there isn't anything else? Well, says Peppa, there is one more thing. Muddy puddles. I see, says Mummy. Is that what you love most of all? Peppa thinks for a moment. Most of all? She smiles. That's easy. What I love most of all is jumping in muddy puddles with everyone I love. The end. Peppa Pig Bicycle Race. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and George are going out for a ride. Peppa rings her bell. Ding ding. Come on, George, she says. Follow me. Peppa is riding her bicycle. George is riding his tricycle. Hurry up, George, calls Peppa. You're going so slowly, says George. Peppa sees her friends, Danny Dog, Susie Sheep, and Rebecca Rabbit. They are riding their bicycles too. Danny points down the hill. Let's have a race to the bottom, he says. Danny, Susie and Rebecca ride very fast. Peppa rides quite fast. George does not ride very fast at all. George is riding a baby bike, snorts Peppa. So are you, says Danny. You've still got stabilisers. Peppa looks down at her bike. It is the only one with stabilisers on it. Let's ride up the hill again, says Danny. No, says Peppa. I think I'll stay here. Peppa asks Daddy Pig to take her stabilisers off. Do you think you can ride without them? He says. I can do it, Peppa nods. I can. She gets on her bicycle and starts pedalling. Uh-oh, Peppa falls onto the grass. Riding without stabilisers is hard. George giggles. It is not funny. Peppa frowns. Daddy Pig helps Peppa to get back on her bicycle. Let's try again, he says. Ready, steady, go. Don't let go of me, Daddy, says Peppa. Don't worry, says Daddy Pig. I've got you. Peppa pedals faster and faster. You're doing really well, shouts Daddy Pig. Peppa looks round. Daddy Pig has let go. Ho ho, he cries. You're cycling on your own. Peppa can ride on her own without stabilisers.
Wow!
She goes to find her friends. Look at me, shouts Peppa. I can ride my bike properly. Danny, Susie and Rebecca all cheer. Hooray! Come on, says Peppa. Let's race down the hill again. Danny, Susie and Rebecca ring their bells. Peppa loves riding her bicycle. Everyone loves riding bicycles. The end. Peppa Pig, A Trip to the Moon. It is a lovely sunny day, and George and his friend Edmund are playing with their space toys in the garden. Oh dear, Edmund's space toy has landed on Peppa's head. She is not happy. Are you going to the moon, boys? Says Daddy Pig. No, says George. It's just boring space stuff for babies, Daddy, says Peppa. It's not real. Space is real, Peppa, replies Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig tells everyone there is a show at the museum that is all about the moon.
Wow!
That sounds fun. Shall we go and see it? Asked Daddy Pig.
Hooray!
George and Edmund laugh. They want to see the show. At the museum, they all buy tickets.
Are we really going to the moon?
Peppa asks.
No, Peppa, it's just pretend,
Miss Rabbit tells her. Mr. Rabbit is a tour guide. This way for our trip to the moon, he calls, leading them inside. Prepare for takeoff. When they are all seated in the rocket, a voice booms, Blast off! We live on a planet. Does anyone know what it's called? Mr. Rabbit asks. Earth, Daddy Pig guesses. That's right, Mr. Rabbit smiles. And what is the moon made of? Mr. Rabbit wants to know next. The moon is made of cheese, of course, Daddy Pig jokes. But Mr. Rabbit doesn't find it very funny. No, the moon is made of rock. This is a serious tour, so no jokes, please.
It is pretend, though, isn't it?
Peppa asks. Yes, Peppa, if it was the real moon, you could jump over my head, Mr. Rabbit tells her. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground, and it is weaker on the moon, so you can jump higher.
Wow!
Some big rubber bands drop down and Mr. Rabbit straps everyone in. Peppa and the others feel like they are jumping on the moon. It is so much fun. Miss Rabbit tells them to say, Moon cheese, as she takes a picture. It is the end of the tour, so Miss Rabbit takes everyone to the moon shop.
How about some real moon cheese?
Says Miss Rabbit. How much is it? Asks Daddy Pig.
£5, please,
says Miss Rabbit. £5? Snorts Daddy Pig. It's all for a good cause, says Miss Rabbit.
I like the moon now because it is very interesting,
says Peppa, holding a picture of everybody bouncing on the moon. And very tasty, laughs Daddy Pig, eating his yummy moon cheese. The end. Peppa Pig and the library visit. It's bedtime for Peppa and George.
Could we have a story, please?
Asked Peppa. Okay, says Mummy Pig. Here's the one about the red monkey.
We always read that one,
says Peppa.
The red monkey takes a bath, brushes his teeth, and he goes to sleep. Let's choose another book instead.
Peppa goes to the bookshelf. There's a book about a blue tiger. A book about a green spider. A book about an orange penguin.
Wow!
And... Ugh, says Peppa.
What's this one?
The Wonderful World of Concrete, reads Mummy Pig. I've been looking for that, says Daddy Pig. It's a book I borrowed from the library.
What's a library?
asked Peppa. A library is a place where you can go to borrow books. When you're finished reading them, you take them back so others can borrow them, says Daddy Pig. He looks at the book. I have had this for rather a long time, Daddy Pig says. You can return it tomorrow, says Mummy Pig. But right now it's bedtime.
After Daddy reads the story,
Peppa insists. Daddy Pig begins to read. The wonderful world of concrete. Concrete is made of sand, water, and other things. Chapter 1. Sand. Sounds of snoring fill the room. Peppa and George are fast asleep. So is Mummy Pig. The next morning, Peppa and her family head to the library. Peppa can't believe how many books are on the shelves.
look at them all.
She shouts. Shh, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. You must be quiet in the library, because people come here to read and to be quiet. Next, please, comes another shout. It's Miss Rabbit, the librarian. Hello, Mummy Pig, she says. Are you returning these books? Yes, Miss Rabbit. Mummy Pig gives her books to Miss Rabbit to scan, and the computer beeps as the books slide across the counter.
Why is that computer beeping?
Asked Peppa. It's checking to see that you haven't been naughty and kept the book for too long. I may have kept this book for a bit too long, says Daddy Pig. Don't worry, says Miss Rabbit. Then her computer makes a loud, long beep. Daddy Pig, she shouts. You've had this book out for 10 years.
Naughty Daddy,
says Peppa. Now that Daddy Pig's book is returned, he can borrow another one. Peppa and George want to borrow books too. Miss Rabbit shows Peppa and George to the children's section.
Wow.
Ugh, says Peppa.
There are books about princesses and animals and planets.
Danny Dog and Susie Sheep are at the library too. Danny Dog is borrowing a book about soccer. Susie Sheep is borrowing one about doctors. George has chosen his book. It's about dinosaurs.
Dinosaur,
says George. Daddy Pig has found an exciting new book. Further Adventures in the World of Concrete.
But Daddy Pig,
says Peppa.
I want a fun bedtime book.
Mummy Pig pulls out a red monkey book.
Not that again,
says Peppa.
it's boring.
It's a different story, says Mummy Pig. Once upon a time, there was a red monkey.
I know,
says Peppa.
he had a bath, brushed his teeth and went to sleep.
She says. No, says Mummy Pig. He had adventures. Oh, say the children. They all gather around to see the book. Peppa wants to hear the story. We can read it at home, says Mummy Pig.
But I already chose a book about a princess,
says Peppa. Then she sees another book about birds.
That book looks interesting too.
Miss Rabbit has good news for Peppa.
You can take up to 3 books home if you'd like.
Hooray!
Yippee,
says Peppa.
You just have to remember to bring them back on time.
Says Miss Rabbit.
And that goes for you too, Daddy Pig.
Peppa laughs.
I'll make sure he remembers. I want to come back to the library all the time. I love the library.
Back at home, it's bedtime. Mummy Pig opens the new red monkey book. Once upon a time, there was a red monkey. He jumped in a space rocket and went to the moon.
The moon,
Says Peppa.
what an adventure.
Mummy Pig turns the page. he had a picnic with a dinosaur.
Dinosaur,
Says George. Then the red monkey swam under the sea. Mummy Pig turns the last page. Finally, he climbed the highest mountain. That was a busy day. I think Daddy Pig agrees, says Peppa. Everyone looks. Daddy Pig is fast asleep. The end, whispers Mummy Pig. Sounds of Daddy Pig's snores fill the room. Everyone laughs. What a fun day. The end. Peppa Loves. Peppa loves her best friend, Susie Sheep. I wish my tail was soft and fluffy like yours, says Peppa. I like your tail, Peppa, giggles Susie. It's cute and curly. Peppa loves dressing up. Look at me, cries Peppa. I'm a dancing fairy princess. Oh, your wings are really shimmery and shiny, says Nurse Susie. Peppa loves her golden boots. If you jump in muddy puddles, you must wear your boots, laughed Daddy Pig. My golden boots sparkle and glitter, says Peppa proudly. I'm going to make the biggest splash ever. Peppa loves bath time. Quack, quack, cries Peppa. Little duck, your wings are so smooth and bright. Quack, quack, giggles George. Splash! Bonk, bonk. Peppa loves her teddy. Time to go to sleep, Peppa and George, whispers Mummy Pig. Good night, Teddy, sighs Peppa. You're so cuddly and furry. Night, night. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.